Welcome back to another episode of Greatest's Let's Play Modded Minecraft series, Season 1. So while we were out, we found some more ender pearls. That's important because I want to change, by the way, cleaned everything up a little bit. We want to change out this very, very small ender lily farm. You see it's growing right now, but it's on Earth. And even when this goes to full size, it won't duplicate, it won't give you more seeds than when you started. But when they're on endstone, very occasionally they do. So I want to see if we can create endstone. And to do that, we need two machines. A magma crucible and a fluid transposer. Let's start with a magma crucible. So we want a machine frame. Look at that bug with glass again. Unless we're actually out of glass. No, we're not. See? Strange. Anyway. Machine frame. Hope this works. No, again with glass. If anyone knows what's causing this, please let me know because it's irritating. There we go. Do we actually have any nether brick? We may not do. May have to go to the nether. Oh, no, I collected some. Cool. Magma crucible. One. And that's just going to melt down the whatever we put into it, like redstone, but in this case, ender pearl. And the other one is the transposer. And if you think about this, it kind of injects the material into something. In our case, a bucket. Doesn't seem to let me shift click anything more than one glass into here, but we're done, so that's good. And just a bit of cable. We'll soon need to upgrade this leadstone cable. It's not going to last much longer, if it even lasts this long. Let's see. Just going to output to the bottom now. Yeah, everything's getting power. Bit slow, but that'll do. Now, on the outputs on this one, we're going to output just to the left. The inputs on this one, input from the right. So, if I take one ender pearl in here, and I make another bucket, and drop it in the fluid transposer. Oh, actually, no, I don't want to do that. No, I want sandstone. So, sand. Usually I put it in a bucket or a container, but in this case we actually want to infuse sandstone. Here he goes. End stone. That's just what we wanted. Now, yes, we're going to break this, but it gives us our seed back. End stone. Now this is going to grow much faster, a quarter of the time it normally takes, and we're going to continue to expand this outwards every time we get another seed. Great. So just a quick note, because we no longer have the barrels upstairs, or at least for the metals, just rerouted all of the item ducts, as you can see. They're now going underneath the floor. And over to this side, they're appearing in this chest. And this is just a placeholder. Later, I'll just replace the whole thing with this cable, but we need a few more components before we come to that. However, we need a quick way of getting this, the stuff from here back into the network. So how are we going to get them from here into here when you can't just put an item duct in place? We really don't want item ducts for too much longer, at least for this kind of stuff. So how can we do this more in an ME kind of fashion? Okay, so there's two ways you can get stuff into and out of the system. There's one way for each, I suppose, but different types for each. So you can import stuff into the system, and you can export stuff out of the system. And it's important to think of them that way around. You're not importing and outputting out of the chest. You're actually importing and exporting out of the system. So if you want to get stuff out, it's out exporting of the ME. If you want to get stuff in, it's importing. So we want something called an import bus. And there's three of them: precision, fuzzy, and basic. And we'll come on to fuzzy another time. Precision is largely when you want control of what you want to import, and also the stack size you want to pull in all at once, etc. We don't need that just yet because this is just a buffer chest. So we just want a basic import bus. This is going to pull everything it's connected to. And to do that, you need something called an ME interface, sticky piston, which is from vanilla, ME cable, and a couple of iron. So let's see what the ME interface is. That's a conversion matrix, some glass. Here we go with that crafting problem again, and an ME cable. Let's see how much of this stuff we actually have. Everything but the conversion matrix. So can we make a conversion matrix? Almost. We're short of one fluix dust. Now, I'll just take this away for a second. Press craft 1. You see we've got an issue. Nothing's going back. Now, it knows how to craft it, but it doesn't have the actual ingredients. So how are we going to find out what it needs to actually craft this? Okay, so briefly and temporarily, let's just break a cable and put it back. And that'll just reset any crafting jobs. What we actually need is a way to kind of look at what it's trying to craft. And there's an item called a crafting monitor. There we go. So similar kind of thing, 3 glass, 4 iron, ME cable, and a basic processor. We can put this anywhere as long as it's connected, really. So if I just get rid of this, put this down, whoops. Okay, some lag there. Right click on this. It now tells me what it's trying to craft at the top right. What we're missing, which is nether quartz dust. And if I had multiple crafting jobs, because I can queue up lots of things here. I can press next and previous, and you can see it has those crafting jobs here. It was trying to create a basic processor assembly. It was missing a silicon, and it was missing another quartz dust. Now, right now, there's no way to construct these because they're not just crafting recipes in a crafting table. They have to go through a machine to create these things. So for the time being, we're just going to create them manually. But in an upcoming episode, I'm going to show you how to actually create them automatically. And it involves those same interfaces we just saw. Whoops, wrong machine. That might help. And as if by magic, here's some I created earlier. I just forgot about that. Yeah, I wasn't that intelligent. Forward thinking. Anyway, put that into the system. Crafting monitor, and now we've only got the one job that it says it's missing silicon. So if we were to look for that fluix dust again, we've now got 5. Great. What about that import bus? To make an interface, I need all of these. I don't have the conversion matrix. Whoops. So, can I just... Have I taught it yet to create a conversion matrix? I have. So, just give me one, please. And now we're missing this. Again, the previous job, it was trying to create one of these things at least, and it was missing a silicon. If I shift click up here, that gets rid of the job. So it's telling me it's missing a basic processor. And that's not surprising because it doesn't know how to create it doesn't know how to smelt them for one thing. But again, with the crafting thing, if I press begin, again we're back to that same position. It's trying to create and can't. It doesn't know how to create silicon. So in the case of silicon, it's just Certus quartz dust. Let's create 3. You'll do for now. I just dumped the silicon into the system. Should get picked up. Yeah, it's no longer asking for that. However, again, it doesn't know how to smelt the processors, so we're going to have to get the unsmelted version. Here we are, basic processor assembly, and smelt that. We might even cover this off next episode. This episode even, how to actually hook those up so that it knows about all these other machines. So here we go. Throw that in. Okay, and it's crafted it. So now if I look for my import bus, excuse me one second. The ME interface now we should be able to build. But let's do better than that. We're going to take these out, and we're going to teach the system how to actually build that particular item. Because interfaces we're definitely going to be using a lot of. So clear, can I remember the recipe? Can I shift click this in? I can shift click this in. That's amazing. That didn't used to work. Code. Drop this in place. You can obviously see these are the recipes. Oh, by the way, I also put another crafting terminal here. Very handy. Let's just dump all this stuff back into the system. And now, I don't need a crafting monitor here, but now if I ask for an import bus, I at least can build the interface. In fact, let's let it build me one. Yeah, it works. And so let's also teach it how to create, try to teach it how to create these things. Am I really out of iron? Oh no, I'm not out of iron. Oh, there we go. We just need to create a piston. Fine. Piston. Yeah, I already had them. And what are my options for this slime ball? Which I've got one of. Put that in place. Fine. So again, I'm going to teach this because we're going to need import buses a fair bit in code. And you're probably going to be doing this with a lot of things. Just build this up slowly, add the recipes in, and eventually it'll just provide you one. Now, not sure if you can just pull in straight out of the top of a chest. Let's give it a try. Because it should just connect up to this if it will let you do that. Let's see, will it? No, it won't. Fine. Oh no, it will. It was just lagging. Fine. So now the import bus is going. I don't think I can actually open the chest anymore. That's annoying. It's real. Yeah. My connection's lagging. And what I'm going to do is just finish up here and then I'll be right back. Okay, different connection. Let's try that again. Actually, let's put it on the front. There we go. As you can see on the inside, it's pulling in all of the items that were processed. Great, including lots more iron, which is kind of what we're really short on at the moment, as well as gold. Okay, if you did a precision bus there, and you can, it will pull those out near immediately. All those will get pulled in full stacks, but we don't really need that. You know, we're not backed up in this system at all, so that is good for now. So what do we want to do? Kind of let's get started on farming, at least farming a few specific things. So in order to do that, before we get onto farming itself, we need to collect animals, and that's a pain. I don't know if you've ever tried leading a bunch of cows, or a bunch of anything really, backwards through terrain holding a sheaf of wheat. You know exactly my pain. So, do we have the components for an item called a golden lasso, or lasso, however you pronounce it? Ender pearl, gold nuggets, some string. Yeah, we should be able to do that. So, gold nuggets. Fine. Golden lasso. What does a golden lasso do? Well, it'll let you pick up any friendly mobs, only one at a time, mind you, and bring them back to your base. Now, you can't do this with enemies, so don't think you can use that to create a spawner. You can't. You need another item entirely. But what we can do is go and grab the unsuspecting sheep. You're mine. I'm not Welsh. I didn't choose sheep on purpose. For those who aren't English and didn't get that joke, if you're Australian, think replace Welsh with people from New Zealand, etc., etc. You get the idea. This is a PG recording. Down we go. And there we have our sheep. Now, I could just shove everything in this 3x3. I probably won't. I'll probably keep the separate animals separate just so I can process the different things. I'm going to go away now and get a few more sheep to put in here. And then we're going to shear them a few times to get some wool. And then we're going to find a way of doing that automatically later on. Right now, it's just important enough that I've got some sheep. Now, you may, of course, be wondering if I've gone slightly mad and what I'm doing with sheep. I'm not really breeding them at the moment. I don't really need them for that. We will come back to that later because that's kind of a good resource way of creating those resources. But not what I'm looking for right now. Don't run with scissors. What I'm actually looking for is just the wool. And the wool I want to use because I'm getting sick of these ladders. Some of you may already know what's coming, but if you don't, we're going to create some lifts. And if you're American, we're going to call them elevators. How we do that is really simple. There we go, they're all gone. But we're going to need to replace them. So what with? We got a few ender pearls because the machines that the farm's starting to grow. Well, that single one is starting to grow. So we're going to put those in the middle. Surrounding it, we're going to put wool. That gives us an elevator. Cool. So I don't have 3 yet, but the third one's on the way, and I can jetpack up the last one. Just going to demonstrate this between 2 floors. Yeah, see, there the ender pearl is. I've just replanted it. So the way these work is, it's currently white, and it's white by default, or a light grey. When you drop one down and you jump, it's going to look for the next elevator up. But you don't necessarily have to have a clear space all the way up. It will skip a few blocks, so you can put a ceiling in place. But your server configs will determine how many of those it will look through to try and find the next elevator. There we go. That's 2 in place. You can keep on going. You add more elevators. Also in your server configs is how many blocks away they will look. Now by default, that's only like about 10, 12, something like that. In your server configs, you can send that all the way up to 128 or something like that, and have elevators going all the way from the bedrock all the way up into the top of a quite large tower like this. But for now, just press the sneak key, shift, and we're bottom floor. Jump, middle floor, and once we've got another one in place, top floor. And let's see if we can fill the ceiling in. See? Looks fine. And what I'll probably do is fill in those strips of glowstone, just so everything looks great. No more ladders, no need for jetpacking up the place apart from this floor, and we're nearly done there anyway. Okay. Easy transport. What's next? So what I kind of like to do is to make the ME network a little bit more aware, just as we've been saying before. I kind of want to use these machines when it needs to, and when it doesn't need to, then it'll obviously get the stuff out of the inventory. So how do we do that? Well, we've already made one of the pieces. It's called an interface, this block, if you remember. So we're going to want some ME cable. Hopefully that's enough. And another item, we want, for IC2 machines, we want an ejector upgrade. There we go, ejector upgrade. So all stuff we've seen before: piston, hopper, electronic circuit, 2 copper cables. We're missing a copper cable, so as I've already taught it that recipe, just give me 1 please. ejector upgrade. And just because I want to be able to do these processors, because we need quite a few of them, we drop this in here. In fact, let's leave that till we actually finish this. Let's just knock this wall through first. And we're going to put our ME interface here. Now, when there's only one like this, we don't have to do anything. It'll just sit there and interface with this machine. But we're going to have one on top of pretty much every machine that we have. So in this case, just right click it twice and we're going to say use U. So what we want to do is link into the network. To do that, and all this cable will get reused by the other interfaces, so we don't have to worry about too much. In fact, when you have a row of interfaces, you'll need to connect one, the rest will go through them. So once we have more, all we need to do is, let's say this was the last one, here, one here, connect cable to there, and all the rest will share it. So you don't need any of this cable I'm about to lay. It just so happens that that machine is furthest across. That's the way these things happen sometimes. Oh. And it's connected. One spare cable, good. For now, ignore most of this. What you kind of need to know is this bottom area contains those same kind of patterns that we use in the autocrafter, except they're no longer this kind of crafting. What you're basically saying in this area is what input equals what output. Let me show you what I mean. Give me 2 of these. It's probably going to object because I don't have. In fact, 1 should be enough. Yeah, let's just drop down. Hopefully 1's enough. Okay. So although it still looks like the normal crafting pan, put your item in the left-hand side. Stores it. Now, even if something appears here because of a recipe on this side, we're going to overwrite the output. Now, to do that, let's just go and get the outputted item. There we go, encode. Now for this disk, it's basically saying you put this item in, you get this item out. So instead of putting it in here like the normal recipes, these are just the regular rolled recipes that you would get with the crafting table. We go and put this, I'm going to get that last ender pearl, put this in here, and an ejector upgrade here. So let's just try this out. We need some silicon because it's going to object if we don't have it. And yes, this is one of the recipes it'll be taught. I think it's Certus quartz. Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when you hook this up, it will automatically get, because of the ejector upgrade, it gets pushed into here and into the network. So we should have silicon where that happened to go. Yeah, there we go, see? So now, if I go downstairs, nothing crafting. I have nothing in here. I've reserved it back in my inventory. Craft me a finished basic processor. It's currently crafting. And it's done. Easy as that, And now we can go and do the same thing with, just to show you again, hopefully I've got the materials. Yeah, one. We have set quartz dust. Once we get more materials, I'm just going to load this up with a full stack in here. Set quartz dust. And we go back to our machine. Equals 1 silicon. Remember when you're doing this, by the way, if your recipe upstairs, like the macerator, let's say it was bone meal, you put 1 bone in, you get 5 bone meal out. Remember in this interface to put 1 on the left and 5 of these on the right hand side. You're having to manually tell it what will come out of the other side of the recipe. Otherwise, you'll ask for 1 bone meal and it will create, let's say you asked for 5 bone meal, it might try and do it 5 times. Just be a little bit careful about what you specify there. Make sure it's accurate to what the machine outputs. So again, it's the same machine, this time silicon. So now, even if I don't have any silicon in place, it will be able to go and craft this. No silicon. Processor. Craft me another one. It's crafting the silicon and the other item, and it's probably now smelting it. There it goes. Easy. You can apply the same thing to all your other items. That's amazing. And that is about it for this episode, I'm afraid. We've got all the tools you kind of need now to automate some of these machines. You can create dusts automatically using another interface like this here. You can compress items. Metal form, we can create wire automatically. You just have to extend this. And between the episodes, I'm probably going to craft more of these interfaces and add more recipes, just like I would add recipes into the molecular assembler downstairs. I'm probably going to add some more crafting terminals, make it so that everything is much more automated, and then we can speed things as much as possible while you're actually watching these episodes. What we're probably going to do, however, is down here, haven't really used these all washing plants, and I would have done, but we skipped the sorting system. And because we skipped it, there was never really any point in me sorting out all the item ducts and stuff like that. What we can now do, in a similar vein to what we do upstairs with these, but we can use a simpler export bus and import bus. I'll show you those once they're up and running. To literally pump items into this automatically, pull items out automatically, and put them back into the ME. And instead of having this whole routing system of going between machines, we're literally going to be able to dump our ores straight into the ME system. And these are going to be watching for copper ores, for example. And once they're finished, they'll dump back into the ME system. These are going to wash for crushed ores and dump back out, and these are going to wash the purified crushed ores and then dump back out. So this whole line will be entirely automated and connected to our ME system. Again, probably under the floor, replacing this whole item duct system. All right, look out for that next episode. For now, thank you for watching.